In today's video, I'm going to be demonstrating a masculine birthday card, and I'm going to be using a new stamp set from Stampin' Up's 2020 mini catalog, and the stamp set is called Mountain Air. Such a beautiful stamp set, and there are coordinating dies with this stamp set, but for today's video, I'm going to demonstrate a card that is very simple and it uses both sides of the stamps because they are reversible. So I'm going to show a couple of tricks on how to use them, and I think you're really going to enjoy today's card. So let's get stamping. So I'm using a garden green card base. I'm just going to fold this in half. It measures 8.5 by 5.5 and it's scored at the 4 1/4 mark. So that's our standard card size. I'm going to put my card layers onto the card base first. So this is a piece of crumb cake and it measures 4 by 5 1/4. So we'll put that on. Here I have a piece of Fairy Vanilla, and this measures 5 by 3 3/4. Now before I glue this to the card front, I have a piece of Country Club Designer Series paper, and I'm going to use the Night of Navy design. So I'm going to put that on my Fairy Vanilla piece. This is the piece that I'm going to stamp on. This is Fairy Vanilla again, and it measures 3 by 4 1/4. And I'm going to pull in my piercing mat. And now let's bring in the stamp set of the hour. I am so loving this Mountain Air stamp set. As I'm born and raised on Vancouver Island, British Columbia, I had to get this set because the mountains and the trees just spoke of home to me, and I have all kinds of photos that I'm going to be scrapbooking this year. So I'm certainly going to be using this on a lot of cards, but I am definitely going to be using this on a lot of scrapbooking pages too, and I will start sharing more scrapbooking videos with you as well. Alright, let's grab the mountains. Okay, so I'm taking my block and I'm taking crumb cake. Ink that up. And I'm stamping it right across. Perfect mountains. Okay, so now I'm putting my trees on. So this image right here. And I'm going to ink them with garden green. Now I can see that I got that a bit crooked, so push that back down. Okay, I'm just going to put some computer paper on my paper piercing mat. I mean, there's already ink and everything on it because it's well used and loved, but we'll just put this on. And now I'm going to stamp my trees slightly over top on the mountains and just pushing down nice and firmly. There's my trees. Oh my goodness, I love this stamp set so much. Alright, so on the stamp set, you notice these bold images. That is the reverse side of each of these details, which you probably knew that, but I'm pointing it out in case you didn't. So the trick with using the reverse side is you want to make sure that your stamps are really clean. So I'm just using our Simply Chamois. This is clean, believe it or not. It's just stained, but that's all right. So I'm just really cleaning that off, and then you want to make sure that your block is really clean as well. So my blocks are really not clean on a regular basis. Sometimes I just have to sit down and clean them all in one swoop, but that's looking pretty darn clean to me. If your block is not clean and if your stamp isn't clean, they're not gonna stick. Okay, so with the detailed side facing up, I'm going to push my block onto it. So now I've got the smooth side on my block. Okay? And sweater fluff everywhere. Okay, let's grab the Night of Navy. And I'm going to ink this up. But I'm not going to stamp directly on to my cardstock until I stamp this off on the scrap paper first, so that it's not uber dark. And then watch this. I'm going to stamp it right down So I'm actually overlapping a little bit on the trees. And look at that. We have mountains, we have trees, and we have water. So cool. So now my stamped piece is going to go on a piece of Night of Navy, and this measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So whenever I'm cutting out my card layers, I always cut them, usually always cut them about 1/4 of an inch bigger so that they fit just nice. And I'm going to be covering this up, so we'll do that in a few minutes. Let's just get this onto our card. Color coordination, I know I say this a lot in my videos, but the color coordination with Stampin' Up! Is just awesome. Just awesome. So now I have a piece of crumb cake cardstock that I've cut down to measure 1 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to put that on my card. And I'm just going to put it right along the bottom of this very vanilla layer. I have a wood grain pattern of Designer Series paper. This is actually our Pressed Petals Designer Series paper, but I love the wood grain. This measures 1 by 4, and I'm just bringing in my triple banner punch, and I'm just going to flag the end, just like so, and then stick that on my card. This card was one of 3 card designs that we made at this month's card class, and I think this was one of the favorites. We all really enjoyed making this. Okay, that goes on there. This piece measures 1 by 3. I'm taking our Early Espresso ink pad. There are no sentiments in this Mountain Air stamp set, so I'm going to be using the stamp set that is called Here's a Card. It's got all kinds of great sentiments in here, and I'm going to use the Happy Birthday. Put that up really well with my Early Espresso. And I'm going to flag the end of this with my triple banner punch. And now I'm taking some of our Sahara Sand Night of Navy Baker's Twine. And this is a little bit different than what we did at our stamp class this week. I will show you the first card, but for this video I thought I would use this twine. So I'm just putting a couple dimensionals on the back. Bring my card back in, and then I'm just going to put that right on, like so. And then I'm just going to tie a knot. And I like to just kind of tap the edges and kind of phrase them a little bit. Pick up a glue dot. And I'm going to put that right here. And put on my knot. Finish the card. I'm going to take one of my large rhinestones, and I'm actually going to use my Old Olive Stampin' Blends. And then I'm going to pick that up and put it right there. A little paper for the inside. In this stamp set we have little birds, so I'm going to stamp them as well. And I'm just going to stamp them with the Early Espresso ink. I hope you enjoyed today's demonstration, and in my next video I'm going to be sharing a very stepped up card using Mountain Air and another stamp set that I think you're really going to enjoy. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. And if you feel like watching a couple more of my video demonstrations, here are a couple more that you might like. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and happy stamping.